Alright, hey, what's up, guys? Basically today I'm going to continue the uh, the Carnifex 101, but now it's going to be Carnifex 102, the heavy support Carnifex, and basically, the heavy support Carnifex and the Uberfex. Um, Start off to differentiate. I'd like to put a difference in between the two. That an Uberfex, I'm basically, is going to be one that's got a lot of tooled up, biomorphs and everything. And heavy support Carnifex, I'm going to basically, maybe one or two biomorphs, and, just to fill that role. Start out, I guess, we'll start with the heavy support Carnifex. Excuse me. It's important to note that the Carnifex can fill a role that no other Tyrannid in your army can, or Tyrannid can in your army. And that's like basically that of equivalent of a tank, having high strength and ranged weaponry. Because the way of the weapon symbiotes work, it's hard to get a high strength weapon without a basic stat line that's high, and only the Carnifex has that. The next thing we can get is a Hive Tyrant with a Strength 8 Venom Cannon, but then that's, Venom Cannon's only glancing at Strength 8, so that's still not going to do anything to, AV 13 or, above. And we also have the Zoanthropes for tank busting ability, but its Strength 10 Blast, or Strength 10, the supercharged thing it's really short ranged, only 18 inches. So you'd have to go maybe one or two turns before you actually get to that tank on the way back over there, if that even. So the Carnifex is like right out from the get-go, turn 1, turn 2, and the whole game it can reach the people on the battlefield. It can shoot the tanks, it can shoot whatever's out there. So for that reason, we're basically going to make our heavy support Carnifexes Gunfexes. Give them 2 weapon symbiotes and let them just plop away at the enemy the whole game. I don't recommend a heavy support close combat oriented Carnifex, just for the fact that it takes too long to get across the board. I talked about making an elite Carnifex close combat-y, just because it doesn't take up too many points, and it can be nice in like a high point value game. Because you have to have at least 1,500 points to put an elite Carnifex on the table. But for the heavy support Carnifex, I definitely think you gotta have a Gunfex, and if you don't go to army with at least one Gunfex, I don't think you're gonna have very good odds, at winning the game, just because the role that it fills. I'm not saying you can't win the game. I'm just saying it's hard, because you have to rely on a lot of other things going right, I'm sure, in your tactics, just to get to those tanks and making things happen. With that, let's move on. Continuing on, basically for the Carnifex, we're because of its high strength, and we're giving it that, the weapons that can do tank busting. Why? Because, nothing else, and there are plenty of things in the Tyrannid army that can just wipe the floor with infantry, okay? Even like the elite units. I mean, we have Gene Stealers, probably, the best bang for the buck on the board, especially now that they fleet, which is really good. And, they can do it all. We have Hive Tyrants, we can, we have the models that can really tear through infantry like no other. So you don't really need the Carnifex in that role. What you need the Carnifex to do is to take out those things that cause us problems, which are tanks. So what we're going to do is talk about that. So for that reason, we're always going to give our heavy support Gunfex a Venom Cannon, just for the fact that it's got that 36-inch range, Assault X, and on the Carnifex that's Strength 10. That's good. That gives us good odds against a lot of things, and even though the Carnifex doesn't have a great ballistic skill, we're going to upgrade that, obviously, with enhanced senses. All Gunfexes are going to have enhanced senses. Alright, so that means we'll hit like 1 out of every 2 of our Venom Cannon shots at strength 10. It's pretty good odds. It's fairly reliable to get a glancing hit on any tank. And those open top vehicles, well, you know, they're likely to go down now. And so we have to look at our other options to equip it. Let's see here, the Twin Link Devourer, too short of a range. It's wasting the ability of one or the other. So we're going to eliminate that simply because of range, even though it's great for an elite Fex. Alright, but just the range differences just make it too incompatible to really use well together. Otherwise you'd have to move your Carnifex up, and you sort of want your Carnifex to sort of stay back and move into lines of fire and shoot, not get in the thick of it, because it's not it's not equipped to get charged at the, you know, it's not that reliable in close combat, because we're equipping it with the weapon symbiotes to shoot. And so the next so we're going to eliminate that. Now the next option is twin linked Death Spitters, which are actually, you know, a decent choice. You can use it for some things. I would say if you're going up against, you know, maybe that open top skimmer army like a Dark Eldar, you might want to consider it, just because of the fact it's twin linked, so you get another chance at hitting it, you know, on that crazy 6 for skimmers moving fast. But and it's, you know, it's a blast weapon, so you actually count as 2 hits, which can be effective, you know, against that type of, or like, you know, the low AVs, or, you know, it can be an effective weapon, but it's only 1 shot. So for that reason, against true tank busting, and because it can only get strength 7 out of it, we're going to eliminate it, because it's not high enough strength for really what we want to do. Because like I said, we can have a Hive Tyrant with strength 8 Venom Cannon do the same thing as a Death Spitter, you know, pretty much. And so that's why we're going to eliminate that. And then so the next thing, which leaves us with either equipping it with a second Venom Cannon or a Barb Strangler. We're going to eliminate the second Venom Cannon just for the fact that it really doesn't increase our odds too much by twin linking it. Sure, you hit like another, you know, 25% of the time, but it's not, it's, you know, it can only cause glancing. So, and it keeps it in pretty much one primary role, which is you know, that 2 basic shots on a Carnifex, shooting at tanks, trying to keep them stunned or, you know, immovable the whole game. And then the next deal, it would be the Barb Strangler. And the reason, and we're going to take a Barb Strangler just because the fact that it has 2 purposes for our Gunfex. One is it is strength 8 and it can penetrate. So that's, you know, halfway decent. You know, it's not, you know, it's not great, it's not strength 9, strength 10, you know, give us better odds against that AV-14. You know, we can't penetrate that, but, you know, we can do some damage on those AV-12s and lower. And, you know, it's a large blast. It's only going to hit half the time, but, you know, with the Venom Cannon, it makes it up. They're great complements for each other on the Carnifex. And if we have to, if we end up facing, this is, remember, this is all for, like, balanced lists, pretty much. If we end up facing a heavy infantry, well, we have this wonderful, you know, Barb Strangler with a large blast template to, you know, eliminate the troops, and the Venom Cannon can just, you know, take 1 or maybe 2 out, you know, a turn, depending on how well it hits. But so we give our Carnifex a little bit more flexibility, and we give it a little more punch on the hitting those tanks, and we actually give it an extra shot, which is quite effective for that reason. So I'm going out and telling you the best combo for a Gunfex in the heavy support slot is, you know, a Venom Cannon, Barb Strangler, and enhanced senses. That's the base, and then from there on, it's debatable on what you want to use, who you play, and everything else. But that is the essential, and people, and that base is what people call the Sniper Fex. And pretty much everyone they either hate it, they love it, or they're basically indifferent. A lot of people hate it. They say they're cheesy, but you have to understand that for a Tyranid player, that we have nothing else that can even come close to that capability. People rave on like zoanthropes or like our close combat ability, but why can't we have something with high strength being able to attack you on the first turn from long range, your tanks, and every other army has something of equivalent.